Okay, I am attempting to locate the left transmission mount. So far I've taken out the battery and I've taken out this bolt right here, which is right there, and there's another one down in there, and I'm trying to figure out how to get to this. There's a mount underneath here. So the instructions told me to, of course, remove the battery and the PCM. I have no idea what a PCM is, so I'm just kind of digging around in here. We're gonna find out. If I had to guess, it's probably this thing right here, but let's see if I can do that without removing that, because that looks complicated. All right, I will be back. All right, so one down here, there should be, that one was to remove the battery, one back there, and one down there. And now you should have a tool like this, and we're gonna pop out where it's connected at the cable. So there's one cable here, you'll see these little things. There's another cable back here off to the side, one more back here, and this one right here. So I think there's 4 of those. So I'm gonna pop those out and we'll be back. Okay, so I have my engine supported, or the transmission.
Did you push it up a little more, or did you just touch it?
I pushed it up so it was tight.
Okay.
And so when you take out the, what is that, the battery casing, you may have to lift it out this side and kind of slide it up, because there's a hose that kind of, you have to pull it out from underneath this hose. So this is the mount right here. So the first thing we're going to do is remove these 2 mounts, or 2 bolts right here. And then these instructions are telling me to remove the PCM, which I think is this, but we're going to see if I can't remove this without removing anything else. Ideally, all you want to do is remove the battery, support your transmission, and then remove this mount and replace it, and that should probably be pretty easy. So let me get started with these 2 bolts right here on the outside, and then we'll move on to the next set of instructions. Okay, so remove those 2 bolts. So what it looks like it wants me to do, besides removing the PCM and then raising the vehicle and then getting up underneath to remove 2 other bolts, it looks like these bolts are going to be right here and right back here on the opposite side, and I think these top 2 right here. So I'm going to remove those 2 and these 2, and then hopefully this piece will come out, so we'll be back. All right, I've removed these 2 back bolts right here, those 2 down here, and these 2 up top right here. So we're gonna go ahead, and that's it. I don't know why the instructions told me to remove a PCM, which my husband believes is a power control module, which he could be right. I have a feeling that's not supposed to happen. That's probably why my engine is rattling around like a motherfucker. Okay, so there's my old, I would say part, but at this point it is parts. So here is the new part. How do I have this? Okay, so there's the new part. So that is definitely gone. Sheesh. Imagine if I could leave on time, I wouldn't have to keep running everywhere. Might have to change my driving habits. Okay, so at this point, we're kind of just gonna do the reverse and stick this bad boy in here. And it looks like, voila, I'm just gonna screw that bad boy back in there. This one was actually pretty easy. I didn't have to hold up anything. I would, however, suggest not doing this in the dead of night, because the bugs over here are pissing me off at this point. So yeah, I'm gonna just screw these in down here. Well, I guess if you want to go the opposite direction, these top 2, then those bottom 2 on each side, and these top 2. These were a little pain in the butt. The torque is really good on them, so is this one. But these, be careful, because you don't want to drop them, and it's a kind of a tight squeeze to get out of there. So just wiggle it around so you can get it all the way out, because it bumps up against this part right here. But you get your wrench, get it out of there, and then put everything back on. Hopefully I can remember the order I went in. I will come back hopefully with some torque specifications, because the instructions were good for that at least. Let's see. Tighten bolts 1 and 3, 37 foot-pounds. I go off of foot-pounds. So these, looks like these top ones up here are 37 foot-pounds. The two big ones up here are going to be 74 foot-pounds. Let's see, the back one. I don't see the back one. And I'll come back and find the back one for you. Which, if I have to torque that, actually, because you had to use the wrench to get it out of here, so hopefully there's no torque because I don't have a torquing wrench or whatever that might be called. But I'll come back with the rest of the torques and stuff like that. Alright, so it was easier to bolt this to the frame first because my old one was so broken that I think the engine might have shifted around a little bit, so the engine may or may not be in the position it's supposed to be. So bolt this here first, kind of loosely, so you got your slots all lined up, and then put these in. These were a bitch to put back in, but I'd start off with those because you're going to drop this back one about 5 times before you finally get it in. And then my husband had to push this part this way, so that way we can line up these 2 bolts right here. So once we got these 2 in and these 2 in loosely tightened, then we were able to push this in and get these 2 lined up correctly. And so right now I'm just tightening everything, tightening these first down here first before we actually tighten to the engine, because we want this to make sure the engine is supposed to be in its correct spot. After that, we'll torque it down, and then I'll go over the torques again towards the end of this video, what they should be. Okay, so I reassembled everything, but really quickly I wanted to go over the torque. So 37 foot-pounds to the vehicle, which is the ones that mount actually to the vehicle. So the bracket that goes basically to the vehicle. And these 2 that are actually on the mount and the engine, those were 74 foot-pounds, or whatever this is. I don't know what that is. And the same for this one. So hopefully that helps. I didn't have to remove the fore aft arm that I was talking about, the PCM it was talking about. It just had me remove a whole, like it wanted me to remove a whole bunch of stuff, but I didn't have to. The air intake, all that crap, I didn't have to take out. So I don't know if this is referencing an older model, but I specifically paid for 2012, and this is stuff that had nothing to do with it. Unless it has some instructions that had to do with that. I don't know. I didn't care to look. I just dug in and found it and saved myself some money. So there you go. I'll try to answer any questions if you guys leave them in the comments. Yeah, I'm like really just amateur at this. I just was trying to save some money because I got 4 kids. I don't have time to pay for a mechanic, and I know some really good mechanics. I just couldn't afford what they were asking for. Especially the parts. I had to go way cheaper parts, so eventually I'll slowly probably change them out with the OEM straight from the manufacturer. But for right now, this is cool, and instead of spending money on all this, I get to get my husband a pretty cool Father's Day and birthday gift. So yeah, leave me any questions. You don't have to subscribe. I don't plan on posting regular videos, so you ain't got to do all that. But yeah, have fun, enjoy.